We finally did it! Minion Necromancer doing billions and billions of damage. And we're using the new unique sword they introduced with Season 8 and 0 mythic items. The best part about the build, we got 2 nuke buttons. First, it's Army of the Dead, where it goes just kavams and everything gets billions of damage. On top, we're also playing the Golem, and this one has the Foul Gluttony aspect to do another bonus big banger hit that also triggers the Flesh Eater. I'll explain. First, the new weapon. It is called Sanguivor Blade of Zur. Has summon damage, intelligence, max life, then chance for Army of the Dead to deal double damage, 6 bonus ranks to Skeleton Mage Mastery, Golem Mastery, and so on. This alone is a huge damage multiplier. I'm sitting at 18 ranks to Golem, and every rank gives me 25% more damage, 13 in Skeleton Mage, 15 in Warrior, because the weapon just gives us so much. And that's without a greater affix to this mastery. There is even more possible. Now to the interesting part. Your summon's damage afflicts enemies with Vampiric Curse. Consuming a corpse also contributes a soul to Vampiric Curse. Now we're going to store these 20 Vampiric Curse souls. And if we use Army of the Dead, all these souls will burst out of us. These souls deal 20% increased damage per soul stored, so 20 times 20. Well, actually it's 25 times 20. And that bonus damage is also applied to Army of the Dead. We don't need a calculator for this, but 20 times 20, in this case, is 400% bonus damage to our Army of the Dead. Now the interesting part is, Army of the Dead's damage is increased by another 200% because we have so much Golem Mastery, Mage Mastery. So that's already 600% bonus damage to your nuke button. And then we're playing the Army of the Dead aspect with another 144% bonus damage to all our summons, which also includes the Army of the Dead. Wait, hold on. That's not all of it. This would be 750% bonus damage, correct? No. All our summons are getting 150% multiplicative more damage because of the Beastmaster's training. Hello. Army of the Dead alone getting 900% bonus damage. And we did actually fix the survivability issue that Army of the Dead Necromancer used to have. Because if you're playing Army of the Dead, you're not getting a Barrier. Because, well, you're not playing Soulrift. Now, that being said, there is another boss power that now says, while I get Fortify, part of that Fortify I also gain as Barrier. As you can see, I have a full Barrier, I have full Fortify, because I make corpses with Army of the Dead. I make corpses with my minions. I make corpses as I kill things. So I can consistently make corpses. I consistently get Fortify because of that with Necrotic Carapace, and I am always barriered up. While I can send my Golem now in to do billions of damage, there was a 1.3 billion. I can always send him in first. The Golem itself consumes corpses because of the Foul Gluttony aspect. That Foul Gluttony gives me then the Flesh Eater for the 40% bonus damage. It all adds up pretty nicely, and I can pretty much waltz into the enemy's curse to get the cooldown reduction, then pop Army of the Dead for the ultra damage. There's only one last thing that you need to look out for, okay? And that would be, you want your Army of the Dead to work together with your next hit will critical overpower. Either you're going to use that on your Golem, or you're going to wait until it triggers, and it triggers every 8 seconds, and then you use it on your Army of the Dead. Because then your Army of the Dead, for a short window of time, will critical strike overpower guaranteed, and therefore boost the damage even further. We're not super leaning into the overpowers, but we just have it as a nice little damage booster. There was another 2 billion there. It's like a nice little damage booster, as it just happens bonus on top of everything what we're doing. We don't have to like do anything special to get it done, because the trigger for the bonus overpower is just having summons. Let me show you. As the rune combo, we get Nagu Zan. Maintain up to 6 summons, get 600 offering, and then your next attack will cause your hits to be guaranteed critical strike and overpower for 0.35 seconds. If we overflow, we get an increased duration. And we always overflow, because Zan needs 300 and Nagu creates 600 with the overflow. Here's the aspect of the Fell Gluttony. Our golem does a lot of damage and consumes corpses to reduce the golem cooldown so we can spam the golem even more. Since it's a blood golem, it's doing triple damage against single targets, leading then to a bonus hundreds of millions, if not billions of damage from the golem alone. The boss power I was talking about is Blackmailer Sabotage. Whenever you gain Fortify, additionally gain 30% of that amount as Barrier. Together then with Necrotic Carapace, I will get 1,000 Fortify whenever I make a corpse. Good, I make tons of corpses with Army of the Dead, so I'll get 30% of that 1,000 as Barrier. Just need to cast Army of the Dead in an empty room and I'll be, essentially, completely buried up and fortified up. Bonus damage reduction, just keeping me alive. No more need for Soulrift, finally. As the third boss power, we have Hatred's Embrace Haste for that really 100% critical strike chance. And currently we're playing Urivar's Lob Bombs, which is not really good, but it gives us 15% cooldown reduction. My Army of the Dead is at 38.22 without and at 32 with. Now technically, to be even safer, you could play Duriel's Burrow, that you just go under the earth and you're untargetable, being able to avoid some stuff as I don't actually have Blood Mist or anything. So Duriel's Burrow being quite useful. Alternative, we could shoot out Harbingers of Hatred's Volleys, or maybe just play Var's Lifesteal to have a bonus heal on top of what we're doing. There is options that will help keep you even easier alive. I just really like the bonus cooldown reduction for the army, as that is our I nuke button. Let's not forget another source of damage though, and that is still the good old Ring of Mendeln. With a greater affix to all the masteries, we're getting even more masteries, and then our minions have every 6th attack the chance to do this big banger bonus damage hit. Now as a heads up, you can see that we have 8 times masterwork, this is 9 times, this is 8 times. We could still go further. We could still get more greater affix. This is a Blood Moon Breach's 750 item power. We're missing ranks to Golem Mastery, ranks to Hellbent Commander. This is a 32% bonus damage instead of 50% bonus damage to enemies that are cursed. Yeah, sky's the limit. We can even go higher. I don't even have Hellbent Commander on my amulet as a skill bonus. If you fully commit to this build, the amount of damage you can weasel out with a greater affix to Golem Mastery, or even 3 out of 3 Golem Mastery. Ta-da. It was a bit tricky to get my armor up, because I had to get like armor. Preferable would have been a greater armor affix. Also here, it would be preferable to have the total armor tempering. Right now I have to play the Juggernaut's aspect to actually meet my armor needs. And I did need big diamonds to get all my resistances done. Here, this is currently a 12% resistance diamond and not only an 8% resistance. Then we're finally resistanced out, but it took me a bit. I mean, we're almost at 3,000 intelligence. And I've been thinking to boost the damage further. We're right now playing the Eliminator glyph for that super intelligence boost. Then we get the Cult Leaderboard because more attack speed is going to be more multiplicative damage together with the Dead Razor glyph. Okay, all of these make sense. Then we get the Corporal glyph, and we kind of can't let go of this because it's bonus movement speed and it's also bonus physical damage, so it's kind of nice. And it boosts our Golem damage even further and summon damage in the Hulking Monstrosity board. And we go into the Flash Eater as our Golem eats corpses for that 40% multiplier. And right now we're playing the Essence glyph for the bonus critical strike damage, because we need a lot of critical strike damage to get the Beastmaster's training up. Now lastly, we're going to the Frailty board for that multiplicative damage as we're cursing. And we have the Golem glyph. Another 25% bonus damage and more Golem damage. And what I've been thinking about is, maybe we should kick out the Corporal glyph and we should add Dominate. Because if I'm adding Dominate, I get more overpower damage, and that works together with the Zanrune. But it would be only every 6 seconds for a few seconds. That being said, that boost would be bigger. On the other hand, this is a permanent 10% bonus damage. Maybe the permanent 10% bonus damage is better. Looking at the skill tree, you wanted to make corpses. We have our Blight for the 20% bonus damage. We get 1 essence when we're consuming corpses, and that would be our Golem consuming the corpses. Worst case scenario, we could pull the points out of Necrotic Fortitude to put them into the spiked armor. That would give us even more armor in case you struggle to get it done. Bonus lucky hit with the damage reduction, the 13 ranks into mastery, the 15 ranks into mastery. You need those 3 points of the bonus damage. These 3 points in Reaper's Pursuit, not really worth it, But again, 6% damage is more than not 6% damage. Sadly, we can't take another shadow skill into the bar. Could technically play the aspect of the Cursed Aura instead of the Juggernaut's aspect. And then we have the slot to put one of the basic skills in to increase our damage by another 6%. That's something I could accept. Then 18 more ranks in Golem Mastery and 6 in Hellbound Commander. The biggest problem is we can't really trigger Callan's Edict. It says your minions gain more attack speed and more damage, right? And when one of your minions die, your other minions enrage, dealing 20% increased damage for 3 seconds. My minions don't die. Ever. So that one won't really come to fruition. I would need some kind of minion explosion, or I would need to hope that the minions from Army of the Dead count as minions, but they seem to count as projectiles instead of minions. That being said, if they actually would count as minions that leave behind corpses, well, then my minions would also periodically enrage, which would really fit. It would make sense if it would do this. Fix it, Blizzard. As your Skeletal Warriors, we're playing the Reapers for that bonus wind-up cooldown reduction. The mages are giving us another bonus damage per mage, and we get 5 of them. And then the Golem is having the triple damage. We talked about it. Now, the very important part is to temper critical strike damage. We need a lot of int, we need a lot of max life, so we can survive. I currently have 10,000 life, or you just die. But we also need to temper critical strike damage, and critical strike damage. Otherwise, you won't reach this 150% multiplier, and it's the freest crazy bonus damage you can get. Make sure to also reach that 100% attack speed bonus. Currently I have 38.5 of my own attack speed. That goes over to the minions. The minions are having 31.8. This is from the summon attack speed of the Ring of Mendeln. And also the summon attack speed you can get here. If I now pull this out of the Debt Razor, that would be 5% gone. It's 5% less, so it actually shows. What doesn't show in here is the bonus that you're getting from Callan's Edict down there. So your minions gain 3% attack speed and deal 3% more damage for each active minion. I have 12 active minions. That means with the 30 and the 30 and the 12 minions, I'm actually at the 100% attack speed, therefore getting the maximum bonus damage from the cult leader. That's what you absolutely need. For this, I have attack speed on the gloves. I have attack speed on my ring. But you really want to reach this. With then the ultimate cooldown reduction that we have the Army of the Dead more often. I do have Tempers and Skeletal Warrior Mastery as well, and you could have Skeletal Mage Mastery on your gloves, but more important is to have the Golem Mastery that he then goes for more damage together with the Fell Gluttony aspect. And then you're just simply nuking away. You put your Blight on for the bonus damage, you have the Golem consume the corpses, you put on the Corpse Tendrils for the bonus vulnerable, Curse for that damage multiplier, and then whenever you have Army of the Dead up, you press the I nuke button to then really see like bonus billions and billions of damage. Keep in mind also, that was the Golem explosion with the billions now, that as you go for the Army of the Dead, all your minions do 150% bonus damage. So if I do now Army of the Dead, I want to do the Golem explosion, because then it's just more damage, right? In the, not 8 billion, in the time that this is working, in the duration of the Army of the Dead, that is 7 seconds. So now for 7 seconds, my Golem will do also 150% bonus damage. So in these 7 seconds, I want to use his ability as often as possible to really nuke out the crazy damage. Sanguivor's Blade of Zur, you're actually getting from Lord Zur, and the Ring of Mendeln is from the Beast of Ice. Ultimately, you really want that greater affix to Army of the Dead double damage, and the greater affix to Skeletal Mage Warrior Golem Mastery. That's crazy. I mean, these two are 10 bonus ranks, and I could master work it even further. You've seen it, up to 20 billion damage, and I am not done. I don't even have maximum stuff, right? Good. This one has the maximum ranks. But you know, sky's the limit, chat. You can do it. Are you going to pull it off? Are you going to give it a try? And if you're looking for more tips on your reputation grind, bonus gear and everything, check it out. Enjoy. Have a fantastic good day.